Hello, welcome back to Everyday Magic. I'm Jess, and there is a huge lunar eclipse happening on Friday the 14th, full moon in Virgo, and this energy is huge. You're probably feeling it. You may have even watched other reports, astrology reports about what this means for you and what's going on individually and collectively. And I want to just kind of share a message with how you can tangibly work with this energy, because sometimes like we listen to so much information and there's so much noise and there's so much available to us, and on one hand that's amazing, right? The fact that we have this knowledge and have the ability to easily understand what's going on and how that is supporting us. And often I find that we're not always shown or taught how to then like really work with what's going on. And this is especially important for this full moon cycle and this lunar eclipse. Again, as I mentioned, it is in Virgo. Virgo is a very grounded energy. It is the earth priestess, right? So just leaning into like what's coming up for me is just like a woman, like hands in the dirt, like hands in the earth, right? Just a very grounded energy. And when I think of that, it's like, what are, again, the very kind of grounded, intangible practices that you can do to support yourself through this eclipse? And I want to kind of also offer a little bit of a caveat with this, because there is, again, so much information, right? There's so much talk about healing and inner work and our healing journey and et cetera, et cetera. And this is so beautiful. And I believe in this. And I love supporting my clients through their own spiritual journey, through their own healing journey. Again, there is so much juice and power in kind of, coming home to your wholeness and coming home to your own truths. And I also want to just point out or make you aware that sometimes you don't know, and you don't have to know what is being healed. There is so much like healing, so much just working things out for you in the background, in the cosmos, in the universe, in just life itself, right? Sometimes we don't even know what we are healing, because some of the deep wounds that need to be healed, like at an energetic level, the mind cannot make sense of. So it doesn't matter how many therapy sessions you go to. It doesn't matter how many breath work, sessions you go to heal one specific thing that you think needs to be healed. Chances are that has been healed, right? Now it is simply you trusting that it has been healed. And now it's like, how do you move forward from a place of wholeness, from a place of knowing that that has been healed, right? Some of this, again, whatever needs to be healed and worked through, right? When we think of a lunar, this is on the south node. The south node is our karma. It's like what we came into this life with. Not all of us have that information. Not all of us have, had experiences that have allowed us to see, some of the past life stuff that we've come in, or some of the karmic stuff that we're holding on to, right? Some of it's not even ours. It's like ancestral, right? The mind cannot make sense of that. So I really want to encourage you during this kind of eclipse season, and it's really going to last over the next few weeks still, but trusting, right? Just trusting that whatever no longer serves you, whatever is ready to be released, whatever is ready to be healed, is right. It's being worked out for you. All right. So those things said, we can still do practices that really support us during this time, right? We know that we don't have to hang on to some of these things. And simultaneously, we can also sit with the very real, like in our daily life, the very real things that we know no longer serve us. And this, it's hard, it's heavy, it's tricky. Okay, I am not discounting that, and I get that this journey is going to feel a little different for all of us. I feel like I've done this so many times now that I know that what's on the other side is something even more beautiful. And often I'm like ready to just, yeah, whatever wants to be released, whatever wants to be shed. And then inevitably I, get knocked down and like, oh my gosh, what just happened? What am I, going through? What am I processing? So in this moment, right, giving yourself space and time to get still, to get quiet, right? Whether that be through meditation, whether that be through walking in the woods, getting outside, right? Again, when we think of kind of this very grounded, earthy energy, getting outside is, I always think it's a good idea, but especially now, journaling, these practices that allow you to really sit with your truth, because this is like a very big, like soul purification, soul detoxification. So it's really, again, when we get quiet and we get still and we go within and we really connect to what is true, when we peel back all the layers. And if that feels even kind of tricky for you, where you're like, I don't know, like what are those layers, right? Sometimes we're still kind of not fully aware of all the layers. I recently had a beautiful experience of this, where I recently was kind of called to share my own like wellness journey on social, and I did a little workshop, and I even have some like fun workout videos that I wanted to post here, and it made no sense to me, right? Like I don't really talk about wellness a lot. I could not understand, but I just had this voice in my head, saying that like I needed to share this. And again, because I trust my intuition and I trust wherever I'm being guided, even though it doesn't make sense, I said yes, right? So I'm showing up, and what was mirrored to me, or what was revealed in doing that, like just cracked me open in such a beautiful way, because it showed me where, even though I have done so much of my own work, right, it showed me how I still have, I don't want to say unhealthy, right? Like that's a judgment I'm putting on it. And it's not, it's just an opinion, but it showed me where I was still clinging to this kind of unrealistic and patriarchal view of what society has come to show or project on women when it comes to how we now believe we should look, right? Like our body should look a certain way. You need to be thin and fit and healthy, and like all the toxicity that goes along with that. And I didn't even realize that I was still kind of buying into that narrative. But what happened when I kind of gave myself permission to just kind of do this thing that I was being called to do, even though it didn't make any logical sense, it allowed me to like bring awareness to that and then break free from it. Okay. And sometimes that is exactly what will happen, right? You will be called or guided or nudged to something. Sometimes it could feel like a pivot. Sometimes it feels like a detour. And you're like, why am I doing this? It doesn't make sense. But it's like, that is the only path that could show you the next insight that you need to break free of something else, to release something else, to shed something else, right? And that is part of your individual growth and expansion and evolution, as well as the collectives. And that is what is happening right now. So, again, can you use this time to try to get really clear on what were some of these stories that I've had about my life, I've had about society, I've had about the way that I've done things, right? When I connect to my heart space, does that feel true to me, right? And maybe last week, it still would have felt true. But now this week, with the support of the energy of this eclipse season and all the other transits happening with it, it's inviting you to come into more greater and deeper alignment with your own truth, with what your soul is actually longing to experience in this life for your highest good. Okay? And it is only when we can be courageous enough to sit with this, no matter how resistant we sometimes are, right? And I know that this comes up for me, like, I don't have time to do that. I'll do it another time, right? Like we pass it off, like, is that really going to work? What's going to come up, right? Like, it's just the mind is creating this natural resistance, but this energy is powerful. And again, you don't have to choose to sit in it. We all kind of have free will in that way, and that's part of your journey too, and that's all fine. We don't need to put a judgment around that. But when you can sit with it, when you simply make the decision that you are ready to experience life in a way that feels true and good to you, nourishing, alive, fulfilling, right? When you make the decision that that is what you want, that that is how you want to feel, then do the work. Okay? It starts on the inside. And simply even sitting with, what is the truth that needs to be revealed right now, right? Sometimes, we don't even really know. We've been operating on autopilot, like just on the hamster wheel, running through the motions of life. We don't even know what we want sometimes. We're so overwhelmed and caught up in the noise and caught up in, social media, the media, advertising, marketing, right? Constantly feeding us information, telling us what we think we should want, right? Telling us a solution to a problem that they magically have the answer to, right? And now they're like, it's almost like convincing you that you have the problem and then this is the solution, right? So we don't even know. We have just completely lost touch with what is true. And this energy, this season is really an opportunity to come back to yourself, to come home and really sit with what is true. What are my values? Right? You don't have to set grandiose intentions right now. You don't have to do anything with it, but it's really for like what's coming up for me, it's like it's as simple as like, does my life feel good or not? Is this the life I want to be living or not, right? It's so simple. And again, sometimes we're afraid to answer that question because we know then difficult decisions might need to be made around that. And that's okay, right? We don't need to even make all those decisions right now. But the more you can be honest with yourself and allow whatever wants to kind of come up and bubble up to the surface. Another kind of way to go at this, again, through meditation or journaling or walking in nature or whatever it may be, even if it's too hard to kind of get to like, what is my truth? What do I want? Because that is, if you are someone who has spent a long, like most of your life, people pleasing and just kind of allowing other people's wants and needs to kind of unconsciously dictate how you live your life, it's very hard to access like what we want and our own truth. So another avenue then would simply be to reflect on all the things in your life, right? It's just kind of like you're taking inventory of your life. What's working for you? What's not working for you? What's serving you? What's not? And you know this, right? You know if there's something that you're doing, does it make you feel good or does it not make you feel good? It's as simple as that, right? Like it is literally so simple. But again, the hard part and the part that we resist is because we know if we bring awareness to that, if we shine light on that, then now it's like we have to take responsibility for our own life. We have to maybe make hard decisions. We have to maybe cut people out of our lives or put up stronger boundaries, right? And then that feels really scary. But I want to simply invite you to not worry about that yet, right? Because when we are so focused on kind of the fear around the future too much, we miss out on what is presenting itself for us, for you, for your highest good right now in this moment. Okay, so again, it's super simple. It's not like some big crazy practices where I want you, to go out in the woods and light a fire and dance around naked in the moonlight. Though if you want to do that, absolutely like go do your thing. That sounds really lovely. Maybe there's a pond that you can take a little dip in, but it gets to be whatever you want it to be. And again, trusting that whatever wants to come up, whatever is presenting itself, right, it's an opportunity to release it, to heal it, to shed it. And even if all of that seems like too much, if you're like there's no way I'm going to be able to figure out what needs to be released right now, what needs to be shed, remember that I said a lot of this is taking place without our knowledge anyway. So maybe lighting a candle, setting an intention to release and heal whatever no longer serves. And it's can be that simple. Okay. So I hope this is supportive and helpful. Yeah, I would love to hear how you're feeling this eclipse season. I know the energy feels very big and it can feel really heavy. It can feel really exciting. We're all again on our own journeys and none of it's right or wrong. It's exactly as it's meant to be. And we are all exactly where we are meant to be in this season. Always, always trusting that and knowing that. And that alone, if you can really come into alignment with that, if you can come into really trusting that that is true for you, oh my gosh, that alone like just gives so much healing and brings so much peace. All right, so again, thank you for being here, sending you so much love and so much healing this season and always. I'll see you next time.